The construction of Chornobyl Nuclear Power Plant began in 1972 on a construction site situated in 5 kilometers away from the village of Kopachi, Chernobyl district, on the bank of the Pripjat river in 15 kilometers from Chernobyl. Pripyat was founded earlier, on the 4th of February 1970, as a settlement town for plant workers and their families. The main reason for founding the town was rapid building and launching. First reactors of Chernobyl's nuclear power plant, one of the biggest nuclear power plants in Europe for that time, which became the main enterprise for Pripyat and gave it in the title of Atomic City. The construction of the town and the plant itself was proclaimed an all-Soviet Union project, and people from all over the USSR started coming to Pripyat. The town was growing fast, and soon it was clear that it would not look like any other town of the USSR. Architects and designers used light advertisement, bright decorative panels and ceramics on the facades of the buildings. In the mid-80s, about 48,000 residents of over 25 nationalities lived in prosperous Pripyat. Every year, the population growth rate in Pripyat reached about 1,500 people. Among them were about 800 newborn babies and about 700 newcomers from different regions of the USSR. The town lived young, active and light-hearted life.
26th of April 1986 was a usual warm spring day. The sun was shining and residents of Pripyat and Chernobyl even couldn't imagine what a disaster had already happened. It was a catastrophe that divided their lives and lives of thousands of other people into before and after. 23 minutes past 1 a.m. by Moscow time, the fourth power generating unit of the CHNPP was destroyed as a result of a number of thermal explosions. Fire started inside the building and on the roof. The remains of the reactor core melted. Pulp made of melted metal, sand, concrete and fuel particles got on the reactor unit. A lot of radioactive substances got into the environment. The radioactive cloud passed over the territory of Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, Britain and eastern part of United States. On the 27th of April, Pripyat and surrounding villages were evacuated. The residents were told to take only necessary things with them and that it would only last about 3 days, but in fact, they left their homes forever. A special state commission was established for liquidation the consequences of catastrophe. Different specialists and military forces started coming to the 30-kilometer exclusion zone and CHNPP to work on the ruined force units and around it. People worked in dangerous conditions in shifts. Those who had got high dose of radiation left for other territories and were replaced by other work. The bulk of work was done in 1986-87 and involved about 240,000 people. The total number of liquidators over the years reached about 600,000 people.
The Chernobyl nuclear power plant continued working, therefore its workers and their families needed a new town to live in. On the 2nd of October 1986 it was decided to build a new atomic town, Slavutych, for 20,000 inhabitants, at the location of a small railway station near Rafa, where people used to gather mushrooms and berries before that. Representatives of different republics started building the town. New constructions were being built, people were getting new apartments for free, and new modern town's infrastructure was being formed of different towns blocks, built by 8 different republics of the USSR, with their national features. It was the last massive international project in the USSR. People were adjusting to their new life and settlement. They started new traditions and holidays, new schools and kindergartens were started, a new system of city management, which dealt with the problems of development of the town, was created. Town lived and had rest. Every year Slavutych welcomed pop stars from all over Ukraine and even abroad, such as Patricia Kaas and Latoya Jackson. Slavutych became a twin city to Komsomolsk, Poltava region, Visagines, Lithuania, Kalinkovich, Belarus, Mittweida, Germany, and Richland, Washington, USA. But in 2000 the town faced a new trial. On the 29th of March 2000, the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine passed the Decree N598, about ahead of schedule decommissioning of Unit 3 of the Chernobyl NPP. On December 15, 2000, at 17 minutes past 1 p.m., the President Leonid Kuchma personally turned off reactor number 3 in an official ceremony of shutting down the entire site. The Chornobyl Nuclear Power Plant stopped electricity generation. A lot of people foretold near decay and quiet death for our town after the full decommissioning of the Chernobyl NPP. There were rumors that apartments in Slavutych had become extremely cheap and half of the residents had already left the town.
Despite of all the hardships, Slavutych not only survived, but also continued its development. Nowadays, Slavutych is the town of the European model of urban democracy, which has established a lot of its own traditions, such as the annual contest called Slavutych Citizen of the Year, International Festival of the Children Art, Television and Press called the Golden Autumn of Slavutych, Youth Economic Forum, International Dancing Tournament and many others. Having overcome the tragedy, the city has chosen an effective way of changing the single industry town, with the town forming enterprise into economically developed city with many businesses. The strategy of Slavutych development up to 2020 is written as a strategical plan of the town's development, which was made in 2000. The primary objective of the strategy is to make Slavutych a model of techno-ecopolis, which consists of three parts: education, science and business. Our town is very closely connected with the greatest ecological catastrophe in the history of mankind, but nowadays Chernobyl NPP has turned from the biggest enterprise which supports the town to one of many enterprises which give a job to citizens of Slavutych. Different scientific researchers, constructive repairing enterprises are working in the explosion zone nowadays. The main aim is to minimize the consequences of Chernobyl catastrophe. The building of new safe confinement and dry spent fuel storage facility is going on. The town Friendly to Children program has been realized here. There are all necessary conditions for full physical, psychological and spiritual development of children. In Slavutych they have all possibilities to get primary, secondary and even higher education. Those who decided to study at universities and institutes not in Slavutych and went to other cities are spread all over Ukraine and even abroad. But wherever they are, they remember their native town and come back here from time to time.